Hi everyone, I think we're live. Yes, we are. So, hello. Welcome to the High on Life Encore. This is the importance of feeling good and how to do it. So, thank you very much for being here today. My name is Lucy Bainbridge, creator of lucyforlife.com, if people don't know me already. And what I do is I work with women and I help them transform their world from the inside out. So today we are going to be covering quite a lot of information. So thank you for being here. What we are doing is we're going to talk about for about an hour. Now this is my first Google Hangouts. You're going to have to bear with me because I'm going to read down some notes because this is the first time I'm talking directly at a camera for an hour with no one else there. So just bear with me. And this 1 hour intensive is for you if you're feeling like your life is kind of stuck in neutral at the moment, like you're feeling it's a bit ordinary and you're kind of like there's got to be more to life than this, and you're maybe just living week in, week out, and not much is changing, and all the things that you're changing on the outside, they don't seem to be making much difference to how you feel. Or maybe you're in like a terrible place. Maybe you've just had like a really terrible something happening, like you've split up with someone in a relationship, or maybe you're feeling like maybe you've lost your job, or something terrible's happened, and you're sick of it all. Or maybe you're just walking around thinking like there's got to be more to life than this, and you're looking at other people and thinking, what have they got that I haven't? Like what is this all about, basically? And if you're feeling like that, what I want you to know is that everything's okay. Everything is okay, just as it is right now. Everything is okay. And maybe you're trying to kick a bad habit or an addiction, or you're in a kind of constant battle with yourself, like feeling like you're not doing what you should be doing, and you're kind of in a battle between thoughts of whether because you've got, on the one hand you want to be like this, but on the other hand you can't be consistent with it. Like say with an addiction, we kind of get into the place where we know that we shouldn't be doing it, but it's the only thing we want to do, and so it's a back forth thing. And again, I just want to say, wherever you are, it's going to be okay. So just take a moment to look around you and be very present in the room right now, and realize that everything right now is okay. Everything right now is okay, and for the next hour it's going to be okay. And I also want you to know that wherever you are right now, it will get better, and it can get better, and if you really want change, then you can have it, and you can have change dramatically. So you are in the right place if you're wanting inspiration, if you're wanting to start doing things with your life, if you're starting to want to free yourself from that quick fix, that need for that comfort zone, and basically living the life that you knew you were supposed to have. When you were a little girl and you were sitting there dreaming about all these millions of things you were going to do when you were older, those things you can still have. So if you're ready for change and you're wanting transformation, then you're in the right place. And what I want you to know is that it all starts from feeling good. Okay? You can feel good regardless of your situation. That's a promise. You can feel good regardless of what is going on in your life. And the reason I know this is because I have a highly addictive personality, and so I know what it's like. I've been in a place where I was on drugs. I was living week in, week out, every weekend for about 8 years, sniffing coke, drinking booze, smoking weed, in and out of troublesome relationships. And I used to think like everything felt like so much effort. Like every day would be a struggle. And I used to think, like, what is this? What's the point in all of this? Like, and I used to want to change, but I didn't know how. And loads of things changed on the outside. Like I did loads of different things to fix myself on the outside. But what really changed was not even 2 years ago, I read a book. And what happened is that book made me see things differently. And everything spiraled upwards from there. And what I changed was my inside. It wasn't my outside. So I'll get to that. But basically, my life in the last 2 years has changed completely. Like I am a totally different person now. Like I'm drug free, I quit smoking, I stopped living for the weekend, I've been traveling, I'm living with my best friend, I'm honestly happy every single day. And so this is what I want for you. And if I can change and I can be in such a miserable place for such a long time, you can have it too. So that's what we want to get you to. And honestly, it doesn't matter what your situation is. So what we will be covering this evening is how important it is that you actually feel really good, like what that actually means to your life, okay? And then I'm going to give you a run through of the Tele Summit. And the Tele Summit was, I did a Tele Summit. If you have just joined up, then about a month ago I did a Tele Summit where I interviewed 7 other experts on love, health and happiness. So I'm going to do like a summary of everything they said, because I know a lot of people that signed up for it didn't have the time to watch it, and it was a lot of information to take in. So I'm going to go through that, and you're going to get loads of tips and hints from that. And then we're also going to talk about stress and fear. So we've got a lot to cover, as you can tell. We're going to talk about stress and fear and how you can start to move past it so you're making good decisions in your life. And then I'm going to give you my 5 favourite things that you can do anywhere, anytime, that are going to make you feel better. Okay. And then I'm going to talk to you about how we can work at a deeper level together, because I'm running a High on Life course. So I'm going to tell you all about that if you like what I say and you want to go further. And then I'm going to give you the one key thing that is important for everyone to remember if they want change anytime. And it is the most important thing that you can have. So stay tuned. So basically, grab your notebook. Now, there is a lot of content in this webinar. I could have split it probably into 3. So what I'm giving you is a lot of information. So don't worry if you don't catch it on. You can get the recording. And the recording, you know, you can watch that anytime. But with the notebook, what I want you to do is I want you to write down the things that resonate with you. And when I say listen with your heart, that's what I want you to do. I want you to listen with your heart. And what I mean by that is, you know, don't sit there writing notes on every single thing I say, because you won't listen properly. Just listen, and when something comes up for you that clicks, then write that down. And I also want to take a minute now, so if you've got your notebook now, will you just take a minute to write down what is it that you want to get out of this webinar? So what is it you want? What made you sign up to this? Because when I watch these things, what happens, I watch like I don't know what's going to happen, and you know, you kind of feel like you know everything, but what happens is you watch and then someone will say something and it has nothing to do with your life, but it makes something click inside of you, and then that thing helps you in some other way. Like whatever's going on in your life, just what is it you fix? What is it that you want to get out of this hour? So write that down. And just when anything comes up inside of you, that's what you want to write down. You don't want to just sit there writing notes, like I said. So let's get on with the content. I just want to take a minute to breathe. So if you just shut your eyes, take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And the reason why it's so important to feel good, I mean, apart from the obvious reason, I mean, everyone wants to feel good, right? Everyone wants to feel good. That's the ultimate goal. Everything we do in life is so that we feel good. And the biggest mistake, and this is really the biggest mistake that we make, is that we try and fix our outside life and hope that we will feel better. But it doesn't work like that. What happens is, if you want things in life, you have to feel good first. Okay, now I'm going to talk a bit more about that. So basically, the outside things don't make us happy, and I can think of a million examples of where that's happened. Like, for instance, I went and did a degree once. I thought, right, I need to get out of this drug scene. I want to get away from it. So I moved to 2 hours down the road, and I did a degree, and I really thought this will change my life, but it didn't. I managed to stay doing drugs, drinking all the time, still needing the distraction. And so what I mean is that when we're in this place of feeling lost, what we need to do is, we don't need to change our outside world. Stop right there. We don't need to get a new car, or we don't need to get a new house. We don't need a relationship. We don't need any of these things, right? You may want those things and you can have them, but what you need to do is you need to feel good first. Okay? And you know, we know this. You know that these outside things don't, they're like mini fixes. So when you get a new car, I mean, how exciting is that for, like, what, 2 weeks? And then it kind of just, you know, goes down the drain. You know, you now have this debt for the car if you're laying it on finance, but how long has it lasted? And it's the same with drugs, it's the same with alcohol, it's the same with anything outside of yourself, same with relationships. So when you go into a relationship and you think, oh, he's the one, and you know, everything's beautiful and amazing and everything for the first, it's just another drug, it's just another version of a drug, it's a quick fix, because then it goes wrong, right? And anyone that goes into a relationship or goes into these situations coming from a place of feeling like they need something outside of themselves to feel happy, then it will always be a disaster. It will never make you happy, because happiness is a state of mind. This is why I like lottery winners. There was a study done once, right? Let me just tell you about this study that was done once. They did a happiness test on a guy who was paraplegic and also someone who'd won the lottery. Now, in that time, the person that won the lottery, like, so at the same time they took the test. So obviously the person who just won all that money had soaring happiness levels, and the person who just become paraplegic had low happiness levels. Okay, and 1 year later they had the same happiness levels. Okay, so that's just a sign that your circumstances do not change your happiness. What changes is inside of you. So that's what we want to get at, because that is when life opens up. Okay, and so the importance of it is that our brains literally expand when we are happy. We are more creative, we are attached, you know, we're not attached to things that are minor problems. So when we're actually very anxious, what actually happens, I was listening to a neuroscientist the other day talk, and basically what happens is when we're anxious, our frontal cortex of our brain, it detaches from the rest. So we can only actually see this very small amount of problem. And so when we're feeling rubbish, like we're focused on the problem, we're focused on like whatever it is that's causing us problems at the moment. Like, so it could be something as rubbish as like, oh, you know, like my partner's taking the car for next week, how selfish. and we'll get kind of consumed by this thing, and that's because our brain literally is working in such a very small part of it. And then when we're positive, when we're happy, right, our brain literally expands. So what we see in the world is completely different. So like we will start firing off neuro signals all over our brain, and that's because we're opened up. So when we're relaxed and we're happy and we're in the flow of life, we're accessing our creative, like just every single part of happiness. Like we're accessing our creative side, we see more opportunities, everything looks prettier, like literally we're functioning better. And you know how that feels, you know, like when you're feeling really rubbish, like you can't do anything. It seems like an effort to just get off the sofa to make dinner. Like that is such an effort. And then when you're feeling great, it's like you can do anything. Like you literally feel like you can burst out. Like, so, you know, the only times I ever really felt like I can do anything is when I'm in a good mood. So that's very practical, right? Feeling good makes us happier. Feeling good is, what do I mean to say? So feeling good actually allows us to do so many different things that we wouldn't be able to do if we were feeling bad. And the next thing, the reason why it's so important, is that when we feel good, our energy is high. And when I say our energy is high, what I mean is that we are literally made of atoms. Like, so at the core of us, we are energy. Okay, so when we're feeling bad, we have low energy, and you can see it in people. Like you're literally like cramped up, like you can see, like when you're slumped over, people contract, they can't look people in the eye. All of that is when you have low energy, so there's not much of you. And when you have high energy, your whole body opens up, like you're bigger, you're smiling, and what you are doing is you're more attractive. And so when you have high energy, your energy field around you, you can't see it, but it's there. We have an energy field around us, and it's attractive. So the importance of feeling good in an energetic terms is that you can attract what you want. And let me give you an example of this. So say you see someone walk in a room and they seem to just have all the attention on them. That is their energy. That's not what they look like, it's not what they say, it's none of those things. It's their energy, it's how they're feeling, it's how they're feeling inside of themselves. And equally, when you see someone that or someone comes in and they're really nice to you, but jarring, you know, those people that you meet and you can't wait to get away from them, and that's because their energy is low. So they detract things, they detract people, they detract everything. So we can attract people, but we can also attract everything we want when we're feeling good. Okay, so like basically everything is in flow. And the last reason why it is so important to feel good. Now I know a lot of people like really are lovely, like especially women, we're so wanting to help others and we're so aware of how other people feel, and that's such a lovely thing. So when it comes to ourselves, sometimes we think it's a bit selfish to want good things for ourselves. And what I want to tell you is that feeling good is necessary for everyone else. It's totally contagious. Like, so what I was just saying, like someone comes in high spirits, they don't need to help you out to make you feel good. You get on their level, like you want to be around it, like it lifts you up. And when you watch a funny film or someone makes you laugh or someone's calming, all of these things, they have high energy, and it's contagious. You know, they say when you smile, like you just smile, the world smiles with you, and that's because you're giving off something, and it makes other people feel it. So if you want to feel good, that's not selfish. That is not selfish. It's crucial. It's crucial that you feel good if you want to help everyone else. Like, you know, like if you're in a relationship right now and the other person, you just don't feel like they're happy and you're not happy, you can't help them. You won't be able to help them until you're happy. You have to lead by example. You have to be the change that you want to see. And so really this is why I do this, right? So this is, I want to see an epidemic of happiness in women. I really want to see that. And the fact that we are able to talk, like I'm able to talk to you through a computer, and the fact that you're able to sit on the sofa over the roof and watch this. Sorry, the fan's going on. It'll probably just go off for a few minutes, but I'm going to talk over it. So the fact that you're able to watch this means we're in a highly privileged situation. Like we're in like the top, I don't know, 10%. I haven't looked up the percentages, but we're like in the top 10% or something of people in the whole world that are able to have this amount of wealth and this amount of privilege. Now, I'm not going to get preachy, but there is something wrong with the fact that we are walking around more stressed out than the rest of the world. Like, that's mental. We have a roof over our heads. We have everything we need. We've got more than enough food and water. We've got more than enough, like, opportunity is everywhere for us. But what we do is spend our time drinking, and we spend our time complaining and EastEnders. Now, I'm not saying that I haven't done this. I have done this. I've been there. I am it sometimes. I'm still like it sometimes. But the thing is that we need to be aware that there's something wrong with how stressed out we actually are. Like, it shouldn't be that way. We have everything we need. And the problem is that we've been conditioned into this state. Did you know that we actually think, like, on average, 80% negative thoughts and only 20% positive? So basically, the reason why I feel this is important is that if we're going to heal the world, you know, all these people starving in Africa, and there's violence all the world, there's high addiction rates in this country, like whatever you think is important, like whatever cause or concern that you see and it really bothers you, we're not able to help because we're so caught up in this negative frame of mind. So it's so crucial that on a level you get happy so that you can start to heal the world, because if you're happy, it spreads. So basically, don't get me wrong, like, I still get unhappy, like I still have bad moods. That's part of being a human being, and I still get scared, and I still, you know, don't want things. I still want things, like, in my life. But there's a difference between buying in to all our negative thoughts, and then there's living like you can do whatever you want. And so basically what the point in this is that you break out, because that's what happened to me. I literally broke out from this mentality. So and what's going to do that for you is if you just listen, like I said, listen with your heart and keep looking for it. Keep looking for that thing that makes you light up. Just wait for it. Okay? And if you're like someone who does a lot of drugs or drinks a lot or any of these things, those feelings, now I used to take ecstasy, and I mean, that feeling that you get when you are high as a kite, you're kind of loving everyone, everything is beautiful. I'm here to say that is how it should be. Maybe if you haven't taken pills, you know, like when you first get into a relationship, and you're filled up with love, right? Those feelings, or maybe I've heard people describe it as like when they give birth. Those feelings, they are what you should be feeling. None of this average, neutral, mundane stuff. You should be feeling high, you should be feeling happy, but what you need to do is it's a state of mind. You need to get that in yourself first, and that's really what I'm here to teach you. So, to sum up, the 3 reasons why it's very important to feel good is A, your brain literally expands, so you're going to function better. Like, you're going to see more, you're going to see the world as better. 2, your energy is high, so you can attract every single thing that you want in your life, whatever that is. And number 3, it's important because it's important to heal the world. It's totally important if you want to make a difference in this world. If you feel good, the rest of the world has 100% better chance of feeling good. So what I'm going to do now is give you a lowdown on everything that was said on the Tele Summit. So the High on Life Tele Summit, for those of you who don't know, I've said it already, but it was basically eight interviews with 8 experts on love, health and happiness. 8 meaning I was one of them too, so it's actually 7 that I'm going to give you the lowdown. So I know a lot of you may not have had the time to watch it, so I'm just going to cover the different subject areas that we went through, because it was a brilliant summit. Like, I was really proud of it. Like, there were so many helpful hints and so much expertise. I worked out there was 100 years of expertise and experience in the personal development, spiritual, health, love, happiness world. So first person that I spoke to was Jo Westwood. What an angel. She is a spiritual coach, and basically we spoke about finding your purpose and finding your passion in the world, and the key things really that are important. So if you're kind of feeling like you're not sure, like you're not sure what passion, your purpose is, like, this is what she said basically. So you need to first of all have big dreams. Like, you know, the dreams that you had when you were a child, our imagination was given us, that was given to us for a purpose. We're supposed to dream big, bigger than you can see. Think about, you know, like, what is your ideal job? These things that seem unrealistic right now, they will be unrealistic right now. But what she says to do is to float the idea, okay? So if you're wanting something in your life, you need to just stop saying you can't do it or it's silly to do it. All of that stuff is negative thoughts. Scrap it, right? You can do anything that you want to do. Absolutely anything. Okay, people flew to the moon. Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or you can't, either way you are right. Okay? But the way to get yourself into this place where you're starting to believe it is to fill your love tank up. This is also what Jo said, and I love that. Fill your love tank up. And what she means by that is you need to feel good in order to have the energy to go out and believe in these dreams, to take action in these dreams. So this is why it's so important that you start to feel good. And she said what I think is really brilliant, because, like, you know, if you're not sure what you want to do, stop trying to work it out in your head. Stop sitting on the sofa and thinking, what would I like to do, and thinking of all the obvious examples, like, oh, I might, you know, I like sewing, or I like cooking, or maybe I should do an interior design course, and all of these things that seem like the obvious. Now, I'm not saying these things are bad, but if they don't inspire you, then that's not what you're supposed to do. So what she says is stop trying to work it out in your head and do things for the fun of it. She said just take action. So this action may be going to an interior design course, but don't do it because you think this is going to change your world. Do it just for the fun of it, because what happens in action comes opportunity. So just go out, do something different, just completely do something you would never do, and in that action you will find the opportunity. Okay, so Jo Westwood, message me if you want to know more about her. In fact, I'm just going to say that now. Any of the speakers, say their names, and you want to know more about them, just email me. I'll give you all the details. Now, Nikki V was the second day. Nikki V and me spoke about single life, and she is the leading relationship coach. Now, they call her the grandmother of master coaching. And she and her and Tony have been in the industry for years and years and years, and so they have coached hundreds of single women. And basically, I loved this interview. The best thing I got out of this interview is that, and we know this deep down, and I know you know this deep down, if you want to attract someone who's going to love you properly, and people may love you properly, but if you want to attract the right person for you, then you need to love yourself first. So what she says is, you attract what you are. So if you're single right now and you find that you're going in and out of bad relationships, and you're finding that you're going through the same patterns, then what you need to do is write down 5 things that you want in that person. Okay, so write down, what is it you want in a man or woman, if there's anyone watching. What is it you want? What is it? What personality traits? What do they look like? All of these things. Then when you look at the list, you have to be those things first. Okay? So these things that you really want in someone, you attract what you already are. It's like what I said earlier, you need to be the change that you want to see. You also need to, in order to attract people on the same level as you need to be those things. So if you're walking around like not looking after yourself, or when it comes to drinking and doing drugs and stuff like that, I mean, as it is, you're only going to attract people on that level. And I remember I used to say, why can't I find someone who, is living, why can't I find a man who is ambitious and has got his money and he's going to take care of me? And the reason why that wasn't happening is because I wasn't taking care of myself. Okay, so if you're not taking care of yourself, you need to start taking care of yourself. And another thing she said was, treat yourself like you would treat your loved ones. Now, I know this is true. Like in past relationships, when I'm feeling like I'm worried about the other person because of their health, there's no way I would tell them to drink. There's no way I would tell them to do drugs. There's no way I would tell them to stuff their face full of chocolate, right? Because I know that would be unhealthy for them. And you wouldn't imagine they're a baby, right? Imagine yourself as a baby. How would you treat a baby? Would you treat it with the same respect that you treat yourself? That's how you need to start loving yourself. So whatever that means to you, and another thing she said was, get excited, get really excited about this. Don't see looking after yourself as like a hassle, like oh God, I've got to be healthy now, or get really excited, because your life will transform when you start to do these things. Don't listen to those negative thoughts. They're just thoughts. Okay, so the next person I spoke to on day 3 was Tabitha Jane, and we spoke about emotional pain and trauma. And now this lady went through hell. Like, what a lovely, amazing person. She is the exact example of how your circumstances do not equal your future or your life, because she lost her brother, she was bullied, she was raped, something that a lot of us will never know what that feels like. She had a rough upbringing, and her answer and she's turned her life around. So if she can do that, then you can do that too. And basically what she said was, being nature is really her fix. And so she said being present and connecting with nature is what's so important. So when you're feeling bad, rather than getting stuck in front of the computer, because we're very used to being indoors and being around enclosed areas, she says go outside and be in nature. And what she says about being in nature is don't distract yourself when you're walking down the road. Be conscious of where you are. So look at the trees, look at how green they are, look at the sky, look at the grass, and tune into nature. And she says there's science to back this up. But what happens when we're around technology all the time, we're in this beta state. I don't know enough about this to really talk to you about it properly, but basically we're in this frequency, this brain frequency, where we're working at a low frequency. And when we go into nature, it actually, our frequency heightens, and we're actually, like, our brain frequency should be at the level that nature's frequency, energy-wise, is what I'm talking about. So we're into it. You tune into that. She says it can heal you, and she's had first-hand experience of this. She said that when her brother died, she connected so well to just being in nature, that it so well to the point where now she's done loads of drugs. She had addictions and all of the things that we're trying to avoid, and basically she said that when you get really connected, it's the best high that you can have. Like, she said it's better than any drug. And you've got to listen to these things. If you're trying to get out of a situation, try something new. So this is what I'm doing. I'm giving you all these different angles on how you can see the world. So Lucy Roker was the fourth night, and Lucy is an amazing inspiration. She is the creator of Sober Revolution, the Soberista site. And she says, what we were talking about was the drinking is an all or nothing game. And if you're thinking that you want to quit drink, that you've had enough of it, you need to be sober, and you're struggling with that, then basically Lucy's done it. And she's she's one of these people that basically, she makes it look so easy and so modern, and she's just such a cool girl. And what she said is that you just have to have that leap of faith, because any change in the beginning is uncomfortable, and that when you just go out of it, what I mean is, any change is uncomfortable, but when you if you just push through it, then the other side is beautiful and it's even better. So you just need to have that leap of faith. And she's also got a great site. She started a Soberistas Network site. So just look it up, soberistas.com. And again, if you didn't catch that link, just email me. I'll give you everything you need to know. She wrote a book called The Sober Revolution as well. And she says the rewards and the benefits you get from being sober is that you get to know yourself more. You get to know what you like and you dislike, rather than just going along with everything because you're using the drink to numb what you would usually feel about it. You get a much better experience of life because you know really what you like and what you don't like. You get to know yourself. And health, better relationships, less moodiness. It's obvious, we all know what it would be like if we were to completely cut it out. But this is a choice, remember. So if you're feeling this is down to you, this isn't something I'm preaching or anyone's preaching, in fact. If you feel that you need to be sober, then you should be sober. If you feel that you don't and that you want to moderate it, that is equally just as much a good choice. So the next night, Joe DeRosa, and this is another brilliant inspiration. Joe DeRosa is a yoga teacher. She teaches yoga and meditation for people with addictions. She used to have every addiction in the book. She's got an amazing story. She used to feel like She used to be in Thailand, and she used to be in all sorts of daring situations, on all sorts of drugs, and living, you know, what you would call a wild life. And it took her 10 years to get off all of these drugs. But now she lives the dream. She lives in a huge house in the middle of the countryside. She has her ideal life, and that's what she says. You can have anything you want. And this is what she helps people to do. And her answer to that is yoga and meditation. So meditation, if you haven't tried it, it's basically when you're at the core of it and the scientific level of it, it's just basically training your brain, okay? And she said what's so important is that you connect with yourself. So rather than going off in your thoughts, what she means by that is coming back to yourself and being right now, being in tune with yourself. And that's what meditation does. So if you're interested in meditation, I highly stress that you learn it. She also has an amazing meditation course that you can do, because what you do is you're tuning the neural pathways in your brain to find peace. And the more you bring yourself back to the present moment, you're working it like a muscle. Like you go down the gym just to get big muscles to start to have better control over your body. It's the same with your brain, and that's what meditation does. It quietens the brain. So all of this stuff that goes on all day brings it back. And the more you do it, the more the accumulation of it has a huge effect on how you see the world. So meditation, learn how to do it if that's something that floats your boat. And Jamie Smart. So Jamie Smart was on the 6th day. Now Jamie Smart is an internationally renowned speaker. I mean, he is such an inspiration. He used to be like a high functioning alcoholic, and now he's written a book called Clarity, which is honestly one of the best books that I've ever read. And I never read books all the way through. So get this book, Clarity by Jamie Smart. And Jamie's philosophy is that we have a terrible misunderstanding of how life really works. Okay, so we think, that's basically what I said earlier. Jamie's one of my mentors, so I'm highly influenced by Jamie. And he says that the misunderstanding of how life works is that any situation outside of ourselves has any impact on how we're feeling inside. So what he says is that you're always feeling your thinking. You're always feeling your thinking. You're not feeling the situation. Okay, so 100% of your thought, 100% of your feeling, your emotion, what's going on in your body is coming through your thoughts. So an example, when you're sitting in traffic and you're stressed out because the traffic, you know, like you've got to be somewhere, that's not the traffic. Like the cars around you and the fact that the traffic lights are red, those things have no impact on how you're feeling. It's the meaning that you're attaching to the traffic. So you're stressed out because you're going to be late. Now, if you're in a really, like, you don't want to get somewhere and there's a good tune on the radio and you're having a good day and you're in a good mood, the traffic is the same traffic, but you're having a stressed out experience, and that's because you're thinking differently. So basically, if you're interested in this, this is really the core of what I talk about and I help people understand, is because the only thing that ever gets in the way of your happiness is your thoughts. It's your insecure feelings, your insecure thoughts that then affects your feeling. Okay, so if you're not feeling good, check your thinking. What are you thinking about? Because your thoughts and your feelings are the double side of the same coin. So that was Jamie. And then the last person I spoke to was Joanne Oswald Jones. Now, Joanne is a nutritional expert, and I love this woman. Basically, she is 16 years of experience in the nutritional and detoxificating area. She's just a complete expert, and we were talking about how you can use food to get you really like feeling amazing. Now, we all know that food, like what we put into our body, must have an effect on it. Yeah, okay, so if you take drugs or you drink, those things have an obvious change of altered state. But the food that we eat, for some reason we think that that's a different situation, but of course it's not. If you're eating rubbish food, you're going to feel rubbish. The cells in your brain and the cells in every part of your body are totally affected by your food. So if you're filling it with stuff that's not nutritious, you're going to feel bad. Like, you might not even notice it if you've been eating bad for the whole life, but it will be having a huge impact on how you feel. So we were talking about juicing and talking about the foods that you can have that will make you feel better. And one of the things she said was maca, and also another thing she said was raw cacao, which is the core of chocolate. There's foods that you can take that will actually make you feel better. So you can eat stuff that will actually change how you feel. Now, there's an opportunity, like one of the things I'm offering in my course is that you will get a 20-minute consultation with Joanne. So this is a great opportunity. She will be able to get to the core of where you're going with your food. And it's a great thing if you are trying to come off drugs and stuff. She's got so many ideas on how you can actually aid your experience of coming off drugs, so it's easy for you to do. And I remember when I was doing a juice detox once, I remember feeling incredibly high when it'd been about 2 days, only 2 days, and I'd been juicing, and this is pure nutrition, yeah, so all the vitamins, all the minerals, all the enzymes you need from raw fruit and vegetables. I was on this detox and I was driving, and then you're listening to a good tune. Oh, basically I had this huge rush. It was like a hit in itself, and that's because your body is healthy, so it's acting how it should do. Okay, so nutrition, big thing. Again, if you're interested in that, let me know. So the next thing I wanted to talk about, so that's the Tele Summit lowdown. So if any of those speakers inspired you, or if you want to know more, like, there's a chance for you to get the recordings in with my High on Life course. That's one of the gifts that I offer, so I'll tell you more about that in a minute. And again, if you have any questions about anything I've said, just hit reply and ask me. So, moving on, I'm just going to have a drink. 2 seconds. Right. So, the next thing I need to talk to you about is how to deal with fear, stress and anxiety, and really see what it's about and how you can pass it. Now, fear is a huge subject, and I'm really just scratching the surface here. The fear that I'm going to talk about, I mean, there's obviously a need for fear, because if we're in a dire situation, something's threatening us for real, then we need fear, right? So it's also our friend, so I'm not going to completely say it's pointless. Fear is necessary for our survival. But like I said earlier, we have this overdeveloped sense of anxiety that is ruling the way we are living. And we can't deny it. It's all these chitter chatter, all these negative thoughts, all this stuff that goes on and on and on. day in, day out. It's constant satisfaction. Okay, so it's like a sickness almost we developed, and you can unlearn it. You can unlearn it. So what I'm really trying to say is that the fear is not about getting rid of it, because you're always going to have fear, but it's how to manage it and how to not see it as a threat when it's actually not a threat. It's just a sensation in your body. It's just your thinking. Okay, so the fear I'm going to talk about is this overdeveloped anxiety. I'm going to read you a extract from one of my huge inspiration, a book that I love called A Return to Love, and it's Marianne Williamson. So if anyone wants to read a good book, this book is amazing. It's called A Return to Love by Marianne Williamson. And what she says about fear, she says, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? But actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. So that's just backing up basically what I was saying earlier about you feeling good and you shining and you taking responsibility for your life and how you feel is crucial. It's necessary. Okay? And fear. This is a really good acronym. So if you've got pen and paper, I want you to, the next time you feel fearful, I want you to remember this acronym. Fear. F-E-A-R. False expectations appearing real. False expectations appearing real. So what you need to do is you need to remember that your thoughts are creating the fear. It's false, right? Because it's not happening. The fear that you're feeling is not there. Like again, say, look around the room right now. This is what's happening now. This is the only thing that is ever going to be happening right now. It's always now. And your fear is imagining something in the future. So I'm scared because if I, quit my job, then I won't have enough money, then this will happen and I'll be on the streets, and then, someone might die, and all these worries, right? That's not happening. It's not there. It's not real. It's an expectation, and it appears real because you're thinking it. Your thoughts are so powerful. Like, they're creating how you feel. Every part of you is coming through your thoughts. Every experience you're having is coming through your thoughts. So if you're living in fear, you're going to act out of avoidance of that. And it's not real. It isn't there. It's not happening. What's happening is now. Your thoughts are... There's a really good saying, I don't remember who said it, but he says, when you are in the past, you are depressed. When you're in the future, you are anxious. But when you're in the present, you are at peace. So look around you. This is all there is. And so to release from fear, you say, false expectations appearing real. And if it comes up for you that you're, feeling like, it comes up for you that you're going, oh my God, I can't do this, or you know, you're staying safe because you're deciding it's too scary to do something, right? Think about where your thoughts are. So ask yourself, where am I? Am I in the past? Am I in the future? Or am I in the present? Because if you're in the future, it's not there, it's not real, it's not going to be like that. We can't predict the future. It's never going to be the way you think it's going to be. How many times have you thought something is going to be awful and then you've done it and you thought, oh, that wasn't so bad? And equally, when you thought something was going to be great, you've gone into it and then it's not been so good. So that's what I'm talking about. This stuff it's an illusion. So when you can snap out of that, you can start living your life brilliantly. And stress a lot of the time is self-imposed, and one thing that I have to do a lot of the time now is ask myself, what can I cut out of my life? What can I cut out? Okay, because we pile so many things that we need to do on top of ourselves, that we should do, that we have to do. All of that again is what you've decided that you need to do. It's not real. It doesn't need to be done necessarily. Like when you're sick, and you know when you're really, really sick and you literally can't go to work, or you literally can't handle doing what you have to do, the world doesn't stop. You manage. You always manage. Like, so you don't go to work because you are sick. You will manage. Like, everything, life goes on without you. So there are things, and I know that everyone has things. If you're ultimately stressed out, you can cut them out. So ask yourself now, if you're stressed out, what can you cut out? Be ruthless, because I know that, like, I'll give you an example of what happened to me. Like last year, before my mother died, my mother passed away last year, and before that happened, I had convinced myself that I needed to do this master's degree. Now, for at least a year before I'd planned on doing this master's degree, it was happening. It was so fixed in my brain that that was happening and that's what I needed to do. I put the deposit down, all of this stuff. And then when it came to it, like it was 2 months before, like it was when I started it, like it was just too much work. And I was looking after my mother and I was so fixed that there was nothing that I could do about it. But then I was talking to someone. I was talking to one of my counsellors, and I said, you know, I need to do this. You know, I'm doing this, and I'm doing, and then it just hit me. I was like, oh, I don't need to do this degree. Like, I made that up. I decided I needed to do that degree. Just because it's fixed in your brain because you've been thinking of it for a long time, it doesn't mean it needs to happen. You can equally undo that. So I put the money down and I decided that it was worth still going through, even though my mum was about to die. And, you know, it just wasn't even an option before that I would give that up. And so basically what I'm saying is there are things that you can give up. And if you're stressed, you need to let them go because they make you feel like the weight has been lifted, and then you've got time, you've got more freedom, you can do what you actually want to do. Okay, so and now I'm just going to tell you about my 5 favourite things that I think that you can do anywhere, anytime to make yourself feel better. Okay, so these are just my 5 favourite things. Anyone can use anything. You know what makes you feel good, but these are just my 5 favourite things. So, what I was saying about fear was really leading from that. One thing that makes us feel alive, like with a high, with a hit, is when we do something that scares us. So I challenge you to do something that scares you, because just go out of your comfort zone just that little bit. Okay, do something that you wouldn't usually do. Tell someone how you feel, or, you know, walk down the road with no makeup on, or I don't know, what is it that really freaks you out? Use it as use whatever scares you as a goal. See it as something that you should do. This is a great way of breaking through fear. See what you need, see the things that exist, or like whether it's talking to a new person. Some people are bad in social situations. Go into that social situation. Do what scares you, because that is what makes you feel alive. Breaking away from your comfort zone is what makes you feel alive. That's what makes you happy, ultimately. So whether it's just saying no to someone, or you know what scares you, inch that way, a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit. I'm not saying that you have to go jumping out of planes. I'm just saying do something that scares you a little bit, and you can do that anywhere, anytime. Okay? And then the next thing, and this is something that just came up from me today, music, right? When music's become my new drug, when you put music on, whatever you need to put on, just whatever suits your mood. Like, so if you're feeling a really depressed state and you want to be out of it, you need to put high music on, something beaty, something that's going to get you vibing up. So euphoric house, drum and bass. I love drum and bass, so I put that on. That might not be your thing, but I love it, so I put that on, and instantly, like, 5 minutes and my mood is up. It changes you, because music connects you to your spirit. So when you're feeling, like when you listen to it, it makes you feel more alive. It makes you feel, so use music to get you out of whatever state you need. And equally, if you're feeling like you need to be calmed down, then you put slower music on. You just put chilled out music on. It's so therapeutic, especially if you're stressed out and you put a beautiful piece of music on. Oh, it's like drinking water when you're dehydrated. And another thing that I've started doing, that's number 2, use music. And this is something that I've only just started doing, and that's because I'm constantly living out of my comfort zone at the moment, starting up this business. I am full of fear. Before I did this Telly Summit itself, but even just before I did this hangout, I was so nervous, right? But you can't let it control you. So if you're wanting to be happier, what I've decided that is my number one thing at the moment is you have to make believe it, right? Pretend it. And this fits in with the whole, you will attract what you are. Okay, so if you're wanting to be happier, pretend that you're happier. Stand up straight. Imagine what it's like to be happier. How do you stand? How do you walk around? How do you act? And use your body to actually create the difference. Because when you stand up straight, your whole frame, you feel different. You feel like this. And you're like lying in bed and you're holding your head in your hands and you're feeling sad about something, then you're gonna feel rubbish, and then you're just gonna have these negative thoughts that go down and down and down and down. So move, get up and pretend that you're happy. Pretend that you have everything that you want. Walk around like you are the most confident person. Walk around like it. And you'll start to feel like it. It shuts off your thoughts. Okay, so you can use your thoughts to change how you feel, but equally you can move your body to change your thoughts. So make believe, yeah? Like when you were a little girl and you were dressing up in front of the mirror because you were a princess in the castle. Yeah, do it again. Get dressed up. Make yourself feel good. Walk around like you are the best, because you are. You are whatever you think you are. Okay, so and then next one is kind of the same, but this is also very good. Change your pace, whatever pace you're at. So if you're stressed out and you're doing too much, then stop, sit down and just take 10 minutes to sit completely still. Let your thoughts come in, still. But equally, if you're sitting still and you're feeling depressed, action. I read in a book, The Science of Happiness, it basically said that any action you take when you're in a depressed state activates the other side of your brain. So the side of the brain that deals with emotions and feeling bad and feeling good and all that side is one side, and then action is on the other side of the brain. So when you start to think about goals, like whether it's the washing up or whether it's going for a walk or anything, any action uses the other side of your brain. So it literally takes you out of your destructive thoughts or any place that you want to go away from. If you're wanting to feel good, just take action in some way, shape or form, and you will feel better. Now, my fifth thing that I love is gratitude. And I mean this is so important if you want to feel good, is that you look at what you're grateful for. And you do this a lot. You can do it anywhere, anytime. You can just look around and realize how amazing it is that you have legs to walk on, that you have nice hair, that you have a roof over your head, that you have a nice mum or dad, you have a nice boyfriend, you have eyes, you have, you're able to talk, that you're able to eat food, that you've got £5 in your purse. Like, every single thing that you see around you, like, it can be taken away in an instant. Like, life is precious, so start being grateful. And the one thing that I think this is actually done, and people's happiness levels actually soared for 6 weeks afterwards, and that is when you tell someone else how grateful you are for them. So really take a few moments and think about, who are you really grateful for, and when was the last time you told them? When you're kind to other people, you're kind to yourself. When you are kind to others, you will feel good. Equally, if you're bad to other people, you will feel bad. Whatever you give out, you're getting back. You're controlling. Whatever you're thinking about, whatever you're giving out, you're controlling your feelings. So be nice. Take the effort to go and tell someone how grateful you are for that person. Okay, so my 5 things are: doing something that scares you, use music to heighten your mood, make believe you are happy, change your pace depending on how you want to feel, and tell someone how grateful you are for them. And if there's no one around to tell, send a text message, or just look around and list how grateful you are for everything that's there. Okay, so I'm just going to tell you before I finish up, I know I'm conscious of time, before I finish up, I just want to tell you about my High on Life course. So this 6-week online course is absolutely amazing. Like, this course will transform your world, and I know that because everything that's in it is everything I have learned in the last 2 years. And what I've done is I have taken all the stuff that I didn't need, and I've taken all the bits of gold, all the cherries on top, all the beautiful bits of information, and I've put it into a course so you can learn how to live life like beyond your dreams. Like, if someone had put this course together for me, I would have been there much quicker. It teaches you how to be high on life, and the price that it's for is an absolute no-brainer. I'm basically giving away this course, so I would love to have you on it. So the details, if you go down to the page, you can just click on that tab, or if you can't see the tab, it's just www.lucyforlife.com/high-on-life-course. Okay, you're going to get it in an email anyway. But this course, it starts next Tuesday. I would absolutely love to have you on it. If you've got any questions, ask me, because what I want to see is everyone get happy. And this course will make you happy, will make you high on life. I mean, and I just want to I'm just going to tell you about the gifts that you get from it, okay? You get 1 hour coaching session. This is apart from the course. You will get a 1 hour coaching session with me, so you get your needs dealt with exactly for you, okay? So this is worth £100. Then you'll get a 20-minute consultation with Joanne Jones, the nutritionist I was talking about, and she charges £80 for that. That's worth £80. And you'll also get your free book, The Glass Half Full by Lucy Roker. So if you're looking to go sober, this woman has done it, and she will give you an amazing positive view on life sober. Okay, so you get that as well. And you also get the High on Life Telly Summit replays for life. So all of that is worth a lot more. All of that is worth a lot more than the price itself. So basically, this course I'm giving away for free, because, I mean, how can you price happiness? It's invaluable. What I'm giving you is invaluable. So if you really want change, get on this course, sign up. So it's at the bottom of the page. And the last thing, the thing I promised, is the number one key to changing your life and feeling good. Okay, this number one thing, now if you don't have this, nothing of it will change, or it will change, but it will change slowly. And this number one thing is you need to know yourself. Okay, what I mean by that is by being aware. You need to be aware of yourself. Self-awareness is key. So if you're saying, I don't want to live like this anymore, walk around and notice how much of that is your fault, your creation. You are creating the life. If you don't want to be doing the ironing anymore, stop doing the ironing. If you don't want to be drinking anymore, stop drinking. If you don't want to be in a job, then stop doing that job. You need to be aware that you are totally responsible for whatever is happening around you. Every single thing. As soon as you give your responsibility away, you have nothing. You've given your power away. You've given your power away. So if you really want change, you need to become aware of what you're doing. You be aware of every move that you're making. And if you're like, one thing I found was when I was giving up any of the drugs I've given up, just be aware of when you're doing them. Think, is this making me happier? What am I getting from this? So if you're still drinking, or you're still sniffing, or you're still smoking weed, or you're eating loads of chocolate, be aware when you put that bit of chocolate in your mouth, or you sniff that line, or you take that drink, is this making me happier? Notice the difference, because it won't be making you happier. It's your mind that thinks it's making you happier is the problem. So self-awareness is key. Okay, so that's it. Thank you very much, everyone. I know I ran over time, but it's been about an hour and 15 minutes now. So thanks so much for watching. I hope this was valuable to you. It was the first time I've ever done something like this. So when I've just talked at a camera, there's no one else in the room, it's just me and a camera. So that's quite strange. And if you have any questions, hit reply and ask me, like just email me. My email address is lucy@lucyforlife.com. lucy@lucyforlife.com. You can be on Facebook, and I'd love to know what you think about this hangout. Tell me what you think. Tell me if there's anything I could change, because you know this is all new for me as well. So I'm wishing you all the happiness in the world. Have a good evening and good night.